All right, from the Studios of Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Luca Zabbini accepted our invitation to our show. Luca, welcome to my humble podcast.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Luca, let's go back to the beginning in your life. How did you start music to begin with? Were you born like in a musical family? You have all brothers, sisters that were buying vinyl all the time, and you were a little kid listening in the other room, that sort of thing?
Oh, well, I'm only child in my family. Yes, I did come from a musical family. My parents went professional musician, but they had a huge love for music. I grew up surrounded by it, and my dad especially loved listening to all kind of records. I remember being really young, maybe just a toddler, and hearing music constantly in my house. But it was always something that just felt natural to me. And I remember my dad playing Jethro Tull records, especially Aqualung or Thick as a Brick, and all that kind of stuff. And from there, I just dove in. So I started studying piano. Later got into the Conservatory, and it kind of all grew from there. So yeah, music was always in the air around me, and even before I fully realized I wanted to make it my life.
Good for you, man. Were you in any band in high school when you were, I don't know, 14 to 18 years old or so?
Well, I do remember when I was in the middle school, I was involved in a couple of bands that were mostly covers of classic rock bands. And the first one actually was playing some funky 17 stuff, but I didn't like it very much. But I was, maybe 12 years old. I do remember my parents bring me to the concerts on the venues, and I think those years were crucial in shaping my future as a musician, because it was during that time that I started really developing my own style. I wanted to be part of something bigger. Something like years later became Barock Project, where I could blend my love for rock with my classical background. But also, at the time, I started to play Emerson, Lake and Palmer stuff, because I fell in love with the first album. So I tried to play that kind of music with my bandmates, but it was not so easy. It was not so easy for us.
I understand. It's always at the beginning, when you do anything in life, to go from point A to point B. You mentioned, right, in 1997, the year 13, you enrolled in the Conservatory as a pianist, and then 2 years later you began studying that composition, right? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Because I was studying in the Conservatory and I started with piano.
Yep.
A couple of years later, I became really interested in composition. So I decided to dive into that as well. I wanted to create my own music, and I already done some songs, some composition, but studying composition in itself opened up a whole new world for me as I began to understand the mechanics of how music is constructed, and how could I apply that knowledge to my own creation. So it was during that time that I started blending classical music with my love for progressive. And so, yes, the conservatory years were critical for building a solid foundation. But yes, both technically and creatively.
Gotcha. Good for you, man. Some year later, you formed the band, your first band, K2, that you were performing kind of pieces of ELP, Ursula Palman, PFM, that sort of thing. What memories do you have from that period?
Oh, it was a long time ago, but
if you remember, if
yes, that was a very special time for me. Forming K2 was my first real step into the world of music in a band.
yeah,
Performing live, and we were already passionate about progressive rock, so naturally we were heavily inspired by bands like ELP or PFM, you name it. I have some memories of that period. We used to rehearse in a small, somewhat studio, and sometime in the free hours at school, and we were all still learning and growing as a musician, but we had this big energy, and we shared love for the music that kept us going. Looking back, it was a time of discovery. That experience taught me a lot about the dynamics of being in a band, and it's something I carry with me to this day. So it was like that. That's it.
I got you. Good for you, man. And then obviously in 2004, you toured as keyboardist in the musical Jesus Christ Superstar in various Italian theaters, right? That would have been, a big deal for you. That was important. The Jesus Christ Superstar was going all over the world in different areas and different performers and different singers in different languages, actually. So I imagine that how you end up getting that gig. It was you needed to audition. It was difficult.
Oh, no, it wasn't difficult because it was by some friend of mine that called me as a musician, because they choose me for a project, a local project of a local tour, and it went bigger. It went bigger in all the Italian theaters with Jesus Christ Superstar, and I did any experience with musicals at the time, but the first time that I started to listen Jesus Christ, I fell in love with it, because it's a kind of prog, it's kind of prog music. So I fell in love with it, and I said yes, I can play all the keyboard parts. And yes, I remember it was a very nice experience. We were in about 40, 50 people, from dancers, musicians, singers. It was a big team, a big, nice team.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Amazing. And of course, a couple years later, in 2003, you end up forming, a Baroque Project, and the goal there was to match classical music, Baroque, and a little bit of rock, a little bit of jazz, and eventually, were beloved by all the progressive rock fans all over the world. Feel free to elaborate. What was the motivation to put the Baroque project with some friends, and then you, of course, that became an important part of your life, right? So.
Yeah, the formation of Baroque Project in, I think, 2003.
Correct, yeah, 20 years ago, 22 now.
Yeah, it was a natural progression from everything I had experienced up to that point. The motivation was really rooted in my love for classical music, especially the Baroque period.
Yeah.
And sure, my deep connection to prog rock, and I had spent years immersed in both worlds, and so the idea of combining them seems almost inevitable. And from the start, I wanted to create something that would blend the technical complexity and the depth of classical music with the freedom and experimental spirit of rock and the prog. So I also wanted to bring in some elements of jazz music, which had always been an influence on me, especially in terms of improvisation and creativity. And at the time I was playing with musicians who shared the same vision. So it was a perfect storm of influences, ideas, and so our project became an outlet for us to explore this kind of music in a way that felt fresh, in a way. We weren't just trying to mix classical and rock for the sake of it, but to really create something that felt genuine, and that made sense musically. And the response from fans, especially from the prog rock community, was beyond anything we could have imagined. It was so validating to see people connect with the music on such a deep level. That's what kept us going.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, people in Italy, right, have always been fascinated by progressive rock band, and so many Italian rock band came from your country. And of course, at the beginning, Genesis, played there, and that, Genesis career exploded when they were playing in Italy. And after that, many Italian band came from that period, which is amazing. By the way, a lot of people from Argentina and Chile wanted to say hello to you, because progressive rock is very important in Latin America, and Mexico, Brazil, of course, and Chile and Argentina. So hopefully you can play there one day if possible. I know it's very expensive, but they love your music on there, man. And of course, in the year after, right, as you were forming the band, you got a new bass player, Giorgi, and then Giacomo, and then the voice of Luca joined the band. So little by little, you began, opening the doors. How difficult is that period, because forming a band is one thing, but then going after some audience and attracting some people and playing some venues and getting along with the band member, that's another story altogether. How difficult was the period for you guys, 203, 204, 205, if you remember?
Wow. Yeah. Yes, the period when we were forming Baroque Project was definitely a mix of challenges. As you know, creating a band is much more than just gathering talented musicians. So, it's about finding that special chemistry, building trust, and creating something that is unified both musically and personally. When we first started, it wasn't easy at all. So we had the passion, the drive, and the ideas, but we were still learning how to work together as a band. And the lineup changed a bit in the early years with GB Giorgi joining on bass and Giacomo on drums. Finding Luca's voice was another key moment in the band development, and it was like the missing piece of the puzzle, But it wasn't just about the music, so we had to figure out the business side, how to book gigs, promote ourselves, and get our music out there. That's where a lot of bands face struggles, and we were no exception. In Italy, progressive rock has a deep history, yes, a strong following, but it's also a niche genre.
Right.
So we had to find our audience, and that took a lot of time and perseverance. It was about playing small venues, building a following, and getting our music into the ears of the right people. The relationship within the band were also a work in progress. When you're with people for hours, rehearsing, writing music, recording, touring, things can get tricky. But what helped us was the shared passion for the music and the respect we had for each other as musician friends. However, yes, as you said before, the international scene, especially in Latin America, is so important to us. I know that prog rock is huge there, and I've heard from so many fans in Argentina, Chile, and Mexico. I've been in Mexico 2 years ago, playing with PFM. It's wonderful. We've been in Mexico City. I have a lot of great memories of those days. So the love and energy we get from Latin America fans is incredible. Also with Barock Project, and it would be amazing to bring our music to those countries. But in the end, despite the struggles, all those little steps, finding the right band members, playing small venues, slowly gaining a fan base, were crucial in shaping our project into what it is today. It wasn't easy, but looking back, I'm grateful for every step of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely, and but I'm glad you guys stick together and continue going forward. In 2007, you performed live in Bologna with a string quartet, and of course, I think a DVD was created, a concert, right? Is that correct?
Yes. In 2007, we had the opportunity to perform in a theater near Bologna, which was a very special concert for me. We teamed up with a string quartet to bring a whole new dimension to our music, and it was a special night for me. Not just musically, but so as a band. And performing with the string quartet allowed us to experiment with the arrangements, and I do remember the energy was different from our usual rock concerts. If I remember well, we did release a DVD of the concerts, but I think it's not available anymore. I think it's not on sale anymore. I don't know why, but I do remember that we did release some of DVD about it.
Gotcha. And then 2007, 2009, you guys released the first and second record, which are very, very good. under you got Gary. I think at record label was Musea Record, and then you received very good reviews at the time, which is amazing because they were at the beginning, early years of the band, and you were getting the first and second record. You were touring, you were getting great reviews from different companies and magazines at the time. So it's a big deal there.
Yeah. Did you refer the first two albums?
Right, 207 and 209, right? The first
Okay.
few. Yeah.
Yes. We released our first two albums under Musea Records,
Yep.
which was a great platform for us at the time. Getting those positive reviews early on really meant a lot to us. I do remember it was a validation of the direction we were taking musically and a big encouragement to keep pushing forward. And we were thrilled with the feedback we received from both critics and fans. The first album was a bold statement for us, blending the classical influences with prog. Then a couple of years later, the second one followed, and we felt even more confident in what we were doing as a band. And I remember that record allowed us to explore more complex arrangements and deepen the musical identity we were shaping. The reviews were amazing, I remember. It was exciting. At that point, we were starting to build a strong fan base around the world. And but I started to feel a little bit frustrating the fact that we are not good lyricists, you know. We are musicians, so the lyrics of our songs were not good as the music. But some years later, we started to collaborate with some external people that could write for us the lyrics of our music. But I always remember those years as a period of growth and discovery. It felt like we were just getting started, and we were driven by the passion and energy from the people who believed in us.
I know, I understand. And I think a couple of years later, in 2012, two great things happened, right? You know, the third album was, I think, written in, you know, you guys wrote that completely in English, right? And then you were nominated from the Prox Award in 2012, which is that's a big deal, you know. That's a very big deal, you know. So to be even nominated, you know. So
yes, I remember with the third one when we released Coffee Noicon, our third album, which marked a big step forward for us, especially for me.
yeah.
One of the most notable aspects of the album was that we decided to write all of the lyrics in English. And for Coffee Noicon, we felt that using English would help us reach a broader international audience. And the decision also made sense because the album was inspired by our time in Berlin. And the theme of the album, with its reflections on the divided Germany and the atmosphere there, seemed to fit better for us in English. And yes, for the nomination, it was a huge honor because we were nominated in, I think, 2012. And it was such a big deal for us because it validated all the hard work we had put into the band. So it was such a prestigious award really gave us a boost and pushed us to keep striving for excellence. It was an exciting time for the band. I remember because Coffee Neukölln was a very ambitious album, and looking back in 2012 was definitely a year of growth, and it opened many doors for us, and especially internationally. We started to become more wider in a level of audience around the world.
Got it. Good for you, man. Excellent. It's unbelievable, man. The progression and the albums are very, very good. I don't have all of them, but I have several. And your music is very, very good. Okay, man. And of course, a couple years later, you work in this fourth album at the time, which had been in 2014, believe it or not, 10 years ago. And then of course in 2016, you end up releasing a double album, 2 hours of music actually, recording during the tour play in 2015 at the time. What memory do you have for that? That album is very good. Some of your music, unfortunately, it's not that easy to find. I mean, you need to go to different places to find some of the old record vinyl or CDs. And I need to check your website to see if there's still some are available now. But that period is very, very good actually. So in my humble opinion.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think you refer to the live album Vivo.
Correct. Yeah, in Vivo. Yeah.
Well, Vivo, it came out in 2016, I think. It was recorded during our 2015 tour. We had a lot of fun capturing the energy of our that live performances, and I remember it's 2 hours of music, and it's really a reflection of where we were as a band at the time in that period, and touring in that year was a big experience. We performed a lot of material from Skyline album. It was great to see how the songs evolved on stage, I remember. For the availability of the music, you're right that it can be tricky to find certain albums, because sometimes the distribution isn't as wide as we would like, and certain releases can be harder to come by, especially the older ones. But I think on our website, we always try to make the music available. But well, looking back on Vivo and that period, it was a big chapter in our journey. It was a time when we were really feeling the groove as a band and connecting with the audience in a way that made it clear we were on the right track. And those live shows were a lot of fun. I remember that we had a lot of fun.
And then a couple of years later, you came to the United States. You played in a festival. I think you were playing in Holland, and then you came to the United States to play in a Rosfest, in a famous festival here in the United States. What memories do you have for that period?
Yeah, that was an incredible experience. We had the opportunity to play at the Rosefest in the US a couple of years later, Vivo, it seemed. I think, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were already playing in Europe, in Holland and Belgium or Germany, England. But coming to the States to perform at that festival like that was something really special for us. And I remember the audience there is extremely passionate about our music and in general. It was awesome to see how they connected with our music, and it felt like we were a part of something bigger. It was also great to meet fans we hadn't met before, and it felt like a recognition for everything. The memory of being on that stage in a Rose Fest, it was definitely one of those moments where we felt like we were really doing something meaningful and reaching people who haven't been following us and who appreciated our music. So we had a great time, and well, you know, those kind of experiences, playing in new places, meeting new people, are always a huge part of what keeps us motivated and inspired to keep creating and performing.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. 2 years later, in 2021, you end up releasing your first solo album. I think it's called One, if I remember correctly. What was the motivation for you? Is that music that you liked, that you were doing in the background, and it wasn't part of the Baroque project? And you thought, well, maybe I will release this on my own?
Yeah, One was my first solo album. It was a big step for me. Motivation behind it was really personal. There was the lockdown. As much as I love being part of Barock Project and creating music with that band, I also had a lot of musical ideas that didn't quite fit within the scope of the band, you know. So I wanted to explore some different styles and sounds that were more, how can I say, more aligned with my personal tastes. And so a solo album seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. So One is very much a reflection of my individual journey, both as a musician and as a person. It's more intimate, a bit more experimental. I was able to experiment with some different genres, and it wasn't so much about moving away from Baroque projects, but rather about giving myself the space to try something new, while staying true to the musical influences that have shaped me over the years. In a way, it was like a musical diary. Some of the pieces were more classical in a way, or piano-based, while others are more electronic or ambient elements. It wasn't about trying to do something radically different from Baroque project, but just allowing myself to be more free and unrestricted in style. So it was really about finding a balance between music that I always loved, like you know, Billy Joel, Elton John, the Beatles, Paul McCartney especially, without any expectation or other than to create something honest and true to myself. And it was also the lockdown that allowed me to have time to do that kind of album.
For you. And then the year after, you began playing with PFM. You were touring with them, right? So
yes, yes, correct. Because we were friends since I think 1999. It's a lot of
Wow.
yes. So the manager one day called me, and it was just after the lockdown, if I remember well, and they called me to to make some new music for the new album of PFM and collaborate. So I said yes, and it was a big honor for me. It was a very exciting moment, both personally and professionally, because PFM has such a legendary status in the prog rock world, not just in Italy, but around the world. It's a band with such a big history and legacy, and when I first joined PFM, I was struck by how tight the band was and how much respect they have for music. So the experience of playing with them, also influenced my own music, particularly in terms of musical arrangements. And with PFM, I had some very incredible shows. I felt fortunate to contribute my keyboard playing to the band's performances, and also with my vocals and some of rhythmical guitar. Well, it's a fantastic experience to be able to bring my own touch to their music, and the opportunity to tour with them was truly special, and that's it.
Good for you. And then some year later, Baroque Project opened for PFM as well, right? So you were with your old friends and people that came to see Baroque Project opening for PFM. That was probably a big deal for you guys as well, right?
Well, yeah, but yes, it was a nice moment for all of us of Baroque Project, but I think the opening act for PFM, it was not for make some greater stage or something like that. It was in a way a sort of way to make bigger the recognition of ourselves within Italy,
Sure.
because we are more famous abroad. And PFM asked to us to make them opening act, but well, it was an experience. It was fun. There was a good sense of continuity between the two bands. Well, it was a moment. It was a moment of ourselves playing on the same stage, sharing the same stage, the same dressing rooms. But I had to be honest, and I do prefer to play outside of Italy, because I don't know, the recognition here is not so much big as abroad.
I got it. Perfect. Yeah.
So it was kind of strange to play before PFM. It was a great experience, but also at the same time, it was a bit strange for us.
You mentioned that you have more followers like outside Italy, right? Than in your own country, right? So it might be probably weird to, opening the band for another great band, PFM as well, or for other bands, right? Because you have more following outside your own country, which it happens. Many bands are well known outside their own country, right? So I have no idea why that's the case, but that's the way. Are you working a new material Luca, something you plan on a new solo project, something else down the road?
Sorry?
Do you plan on working on a new album, like a new solo material?
The time, no, I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I try to work on new solo material, but I'm really busy now with the tour with PFM.
yeah,
After the release of one, I've been really inspired to dive deeper into my own creative process, but it's hard. It's hard
yeah.
because there's a lot of we are a lot in concerts, but right now I'm in the early stages of planning for new music.
For new music, that's
Yeah, I've been gathering ideas. I'm really into experiment with different sounds and concepts. But yes, I'm very much busy with PFM and Barock Project.
yeah.
And so the energy in now is straight to
Focus there. Yeah, got it.
yeah.
Yeah. My understanding, you're going to be touring in the Trading Boundaries, which is actually it's in next month, the 8th and the 9th. I know that venue very, very well. Been there many times. It's a very cozy place, the Trading Boundaries. So good for you, man. Good for you. I will put the announcement there when I upload the interview. I would mention that you are going to be playing there, and because that's a small but a very cozy, great venues. And I forgot that you mentioned that you in 2014 you also end up releasing a new studio album, right? Which is Time Voyager, if I remember correctly.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Yeah.
It was our last album. It came out last year, and
Yeah.
it's been a long time coming, especially with the pause caused by the pandemic.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a very special album for me and for the band. And the album revolves around the theme of time, memory, introspection. And we wanted to explore these concepts in a way that was both personal and universal. And every song in it represents a different moment in time, past, present, future. And
Yeah.
it feels like a journey. Yes, well, for the Trading Boundaries, I'm excited to be playing there because it's one of those venues that has such a great vibe for us. It's like to be in a family. It
That's
seems.
right. Yeah.
Yes, but it
Yeah.
also allows for a very powerful connection with the audience.
Correct. Yeah.
And we're looking forward to bringing the Time Voyager live to the fans there.
Yeah.
And also in Holland, in the Border Eye Arena in October.
Perfect. Yeah.
We are very excited to be there again.
Okay. Perfect. Feel free to mention the website, Luca, where people can buy your music, buy merchandise, and that sort of thing.
Oh yes, yes. Our website is www.baroqueproject.net.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best place to find everything about us. So
Yeah.
it and you can get the latest news, tour dates, some interviews. So feel free to stop there and to explore.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Luca, it was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you, man, and hopefully we'll meet and have a cup of coffee or a beer one day somewhere in the world. Because I love your music, man. You've been doing very well. I mean, I love PFN obviously, and I know Baroque Project, and I love what you guys doing. So good for you, man. I know it has been difficult, and making a living as a musician is not that easy as well. But I'm here to help in any way I can to promote your music. Luca.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here with you, and I love to have a coffee or a beer with you one day.
Yeah, you bet.
Wherever it may be, or talk more about music and life. So thank you again. I look forward to crossing paths somewhere
In the world. Yeah, nice. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon, Luca, down there.
Have a good afternoon. You too. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.